Recently, I replaced the faucets in our master bathroom with Pfister Pasadena faucets, and I made a whole project video that you can watch. In this video, I want to show you the 5 mistakes I made installing those faucets so you can avoid those mistakes when you install a faucet. The first step in installing a spread handle faucet is to install the cold and hot valves. A nut below the countertop secures the valve to the counter. Here's the video of me tightening up the nut for the cold valve.
I'm just doing it drawing. You're going to see it. I'm going to tighten up my hand first and then use the 80.
And there's the first mistake. You see that piece of black foam stuck to the underside of the counter? That's left over from the old faucet I removed, and I didn't even know it was there. In fact, I didn't even see it until I was editing that video. To avoid this mistake, make sure you feel the underside of the counter with your hand. Take a photo with your phone and check to make sure that nothing got stuck to the underside of the counter. Once the valves are installed, then you can attach the handles. Here's a video of me attaching the handle for the cold valve.
So to attach the handles, you place it on top in the right position, and then you rotate this base onto the cartridge.
My second mistake was not paying enough attention to the instructions, because there is a plastic ring that is supposed to go between the bottom of that handle and the counter to protect the counter. So here's me attaching the handle again, this time with the ring underneath.
That provides a better seal. It's in the off position. Okay.
To avoid this mistake, make sure you carefully read the instructions and know where every part goes. If you come across some parts that you can't identify where they go, go back and check the instructions so you don't mess up like I did. With any spread handle faucet, you're going to have lines that go from each of the handles to the spout. Here's a video of me connecting those 2 lines to the spout and checking it.
Click. Pull on this to make sure they're all secure.
And when checking the connection, I made the next mistake. See, you're supposed to only pull on the hoses, but as you can see here, my thumb and forefinger actually pressed on the 2 tabs that hold the hose into that spout connection. So it looked okay, but when I turned on the hot water at some pressure, here's what happened. The hose popped off and water went everywhere. Lesson learned. When it says to just pull on the hose, don't push the connection. Once that connection is locked in, you don't want to touch it because you can end up making the same mistake I did. Almost all new faucets also come with drains. So I installed the drain according to the instructions. To test, I poured a glass of water down the sink into that new drain. Here's what happened.
Pour that down.
The previous drain had been installed with quite a lot of silicone. I hadn't noticed it and I hadn't cleaned it off, so the rubber gasket from the bottom didn't seal and the water went everywhere. Always make sure that you have clean surfaces to seal gaskets too. In this case, I had to clean off that old silicone, and when I did, I put the gasket back on and then it worked perfectly. After connecting the supply lines, it's time to test the hot and cold valves. Now, I got a little too eager and I made another mistake. Here I am testing the cold water.
Start with the cold. And what they say is always take the aerator off before you run the water.
And you saw me realize my mistake in the video. The instructions say to remove the aerator before you run the water from both the cold and hot taps. I didn't do that, and I got a bit of sediment and debris into the aerator that I've actually not been able to get out. So here's what it looks like when I turn the tap on now. You can see it sprays in all different directions. So whenever you are installing a faucet, make sure you follow the instructions. Remove the aerator, then run each of the cold and hot water for about 15 seconds to make sure anything comes out of those lines, and then you can put the aerator back on. Now, because I made this mistake, I'm going to have to go and buy a new aerator so it works properly. Replacing a faucet is a DIY plumbing project that most homeowners can take on. Just take your time, follow the instructions, and don't make the mistakes I did. If you want to see the full video where I removed and then installed the new faucet, you can watch it here, or I'll put the link in the description down below as well. Thanks for watching.